Hello, Facebook. Hello, YouTube. It's Monday night. I never like the way the Facebook angle is going on here. If I do that, is that better? I don't know. Hello, Jen. Hey. Are you doing ice cream tonight or are you doing shots? Let me know. Maybe we'll join in. Hello, Marianne. How are you? It's Monday night, which means it's time to go live on YouTube and Facebook. Those of you watching from Facebook, I am most interactive with people who are posting questions and thoughts on my YouTube channel. So if you want to have more engagement with me, just jump over to my YouTube channel. So if you go to youtube.com and then search up Deborah Hanlon, I think it's Intuitive Medium on there, or Deborah, just YouTube Deborah Hanlon. How many Deborah Hanlons are there out there, right? Then you can find my channel, and then you can click subscribe, and you can watch from there, or you could stay here on Facebook. Either one is fine. Jen is going with shots tonight. Great. So Jen is a regular, and because I talk so much with my hands, and all of you have made me so aware of how much I talk with my hands, I should have gone to mime school. But Jen takes a shot for every time I speak with my hands. Last week, she traded her shots for ice cream. And she's back to shots now. So, yes. So, okay. Hey, Kim. Oh, my God. Tomorrow night, Kim is setting. I'm so excited. My mom and I are coming tomorrow. Let me tell you all what tomorrow is. Tomorrow is my second live in-person gallery since this whole quarantine thing happened. It's already sold out. We're being very socially responsible. It's at the Winding Hills Golf Course in Montgomery, New York. It's outdoors, but they have like nice space heaters. And I was super amazed at how well this ran the first time, which was last month. They had never handled a gallery for me before ever. And then to handle a gallery with social distancing rules in place and giving food and everything, amazing. So big, huge shout out to everybody at Winding Hills Golf Course in Montgomery, New York. The next one is tomorrow night. It's sold out. And then my next gallery is October 21st, I think, at the Elks Lodge in Middletown, New York, which I believe is also sold out. And we were kind of just waiting to see how life progressed through October, November, December before we add any more in-person galleries. But it feels so good for me to be back in live settings. I do have a gallery via Zoom every month, which I'm enjoying. I love. I've been doing that ever since quarantine started. So you can join a live Zoom gallery if you live far away, or just kind of wait to see what else we put up on the calendar. So Monday nights are me talking about nonsense. No, I'm just kidding. I don't feel ranty tonight. Donna, hello from Scotland. Stop it. That is so cool. I want to go to Scotland so badly. I want to go. My good friend, are you related to her? Not because you're from Scotland, but I'm wondering if that's how you heard about me. I'm not being ignorant, like, oh, you must know so-and-so because they're from Scotland too. But my friend Eileen, her whole family is from Scotland. So I'm wondering if you've heard about me through Eileen. And if not, tell me, Donna, how you heard about me, because it's all about me. But Monday nights, I just talk about and answer your questions, right? Just your generalized questions about all things of intuition. My goal in life, many of you know, many of you know me as a medium, which means I have this ability to connect with and hear and feel the energies and consciousness of people who have crossed on, and that is amazing. And I was literally just on a Zoom live book club Zoom call with people to talk about my book that I wrote. It's called In the Presence of Proof by Deborah Hanlon, of course. And it was really exciting for me to be on that call because I'm like, wait, what? You read my book? You actually got it? What? Oh, you liked it? Yeah, taught you something. So we're talking about that, and I'm a medium, and I absolutely hate telling people that because of all of the negative associations with the term medium, of which I also would have if I wasn't a medium myself. So I get it. I get the skeptics, and I kind of went over how, like, I often wonder how my children's friends' parents, like when they hear like, hey, I met so-and-so and I want to go over their house. And they're like, oh yeah, where do they live? And they tell us where we live. And then they go, yeah, what do their parents do? Oh, Chris's mom, he talks to dead people. Like if I heard that as a parent, I'd be concerned too. I would be like, I don't think you should go there. I don't know. It doesn't sound okay. So I don't like the term medium. In fact, I hate it. It's associated a lot of times with very much of weirdness or out there-ness, and I don't feel like I am that. I mean, I'm nuts, but I'm not weird. There's a difference. So Monday nights, I come to talk about how to connect with your loved ones, how to reach your full human potential. What is this all about? I call it the great WTF of life. Like, why are we here? What are we doing? What is the point of living and being here? That's the stuff that I love, and that's the stuff that lights me up. So that's what Monday nights are about. That's what this is about. Just time for us to chat and talk and... oh, sorry, Jen. Yeah, your mom's watching. No, Jen always does ice cream shots. That's what I meant by shots. Shots of fudge and whipped cream. Duh. Sorry. Oh my God. Jen's mom and brother here. Jen's a stellar citizen, by the way, you guys. Stellar citizen. So let me go through everybody. Hello, Annette. Hello. I love when you say you're a Pandora bracelet person because that helps me. It's so funny. Hello, Catherine. That's an interesting way to spell your name. Is it Catherine or is it Catherine, said Catherine, or is it Catherine? Hello, Rosemary. Hello, Danielle. Good to see you again. Hello, Melanie. So long. It's been so long since I've seen you. Kim is saying I bought the tickets. Her birthday was October 8th, so we're stoked. It's going to be an incredible time. Hello from Watervliet. Yeah, I'm saying it correctly, right, Sharon? Hello. Hello from Colorado. Oh my gosh, Annie, it's good to see you on here. Hello, Carolyn. Oh, let's see. Hello, Sharon. Carolyn again. I'm reading it for the second time. I have pages marked up. We're going to do more book club stuff because I realize that there's a lot to talk about. And the fact that people are reading my book and then also marking it up and then actually have questions about it, or, oh my God, I read your book and it makes me think of this differently. Like I could die now. I could die. Like my work here is done. You know what I mean? Like I can't thank you enough. I know I sound so stupid saying that, but it blows my mind. Like, what do you mean you read my book? Like, what? And it helped. And it helped. Stop it. Like my work here on the planet is done. I was telling everybody in the book club that book club. Yeah, in the book club. I was talking to them. And I was talking about like I really truly have no other hobbies and interests in life other than deep searching for the truth with a capital T. Deep searching for connection, deep searching for meaning, understanding why are we here, which I always call the great WTF of life. Like, seriously, why, what? Why are we doing this? I was talking about how often I find that being human is really stupid. We spend a lot of time just worrying and stressing and being angry or sad or disconnected or feeling misunderstood or alone. And that kills me. It kills me because I know there's so much more to life, and yet we don't always employ the other parts of being, in life and human. So my work is not just mediumship, and I cannot stress this enough. I say it all the time, but Mediumship is the tip of the iceberg of what is out there in terms of possibilities and consciousness. And my life's obsession has always been about, what is this about? Why are we doing this? Aren't we so stupid? Why are we stressing out? Why are we getting angry at each other? Why are we not seeing eye to eye? Why aren't we letting someone else have a different point of view from us? Why do we get so mad when someone has a different view from us? Why? So that's what I'm about. The mediumship is this much of how much is out there for you. And my job, my goal, my passion, my love, my obsession is just to understand it more, so that because I'm so obsessed with it, so that I can kind of talk to all of you about it, to unlock and open up your own potential. That is all I want to do. That's it. So I have written a book about this. I teach coaching classes. I do a ton of workshops right now, currently all online through Zoom. And I do that because we learn, and I want to open people up. I want you not to see Deborah's view of you. I want you to see your view of you. And I want to open people up to your own potential. I want people to know that you're not as up as you think you are, right? You know, we all think like, I'm a mess, or something's wrong with me, or I can't do anything, or I don't have it right, or something must be wrong with me. I hear it day in, day out from everybody, and that's not it. It's just that we are living in a new time, and our evolution has not caught up to the time that we're in. And so my work is, yes, maybe 5% showing you that the other side exists, but 95% of my work is showing you that you exist, and you exist in a really big way. And whatever's bothering you and getting you stuck, whatever you feel like you can't change, there's a reason why you feel like you can't change it. There's probably a physical, tangible reason, but none of that matters. None of that matters. There's so much more to your life and to you than what you think. So my life's work, my job, the reason why I feel like I'm on the planet is to show you, the real you, and then raise you up so you're like, oh my God, this isn't so bad. So that's what Monday nights are about. Monday nights are kind of me sometimes ranting, about really stupid stuff, which are fun. I love ranting. It makes me feel better. It does. And then who knows? So sometimes I have you ask personal intuitive questions. Not right now. I'm not answering personal intuitive questions, only because I kind of throw that in every once in a while. And I just did that about 2 weeks ago. I threw that in. But I feel like that's a disservice, you guys. And let me tell you, I get it. You watch because it's like, I just need to know the answer to this. Please give me hope. I get it. I've been there. I have sought out intuitives myself for the same reasons. I remember 4 years ago when I was like, thought I was dying with a serious health issue. I was like, if I could just get a hold of anybody psychic who can tell me anything, I would love it. So I get it. I lived it. I've been there, but I want you to stick around because there's more to it. I don't want people to think, I want to know Deborah's opinion on that. Although that's pretty cool too, because it's all about me. But what I'd rather is, let me teach you how you can go inward too. Yeah, it's always fun to hear from somebody else. And yes, it's nice, but my job is more about empowerment and making you feel like, oh, you've got this. Everything's fine. Everything is good. You're not as bad off as you think, and nothing is stuck. There's no such thing as stuckness, right? I think, Amber, I saw you on here. We talked about this. The saying, or the phrase that came out of my mouth of like, when we say we're stuck, it's, you're not stuck. You're just not done with something. So that's why we feel stuck. You're just not done. So you're not stuck. I promise you, if you feel stuck, you're not stuck. You're just not done with something, nor do you have the tools to move yourself forward. And that's my job. That is literally my job. So let's see. What is my intuition in the next few months? Coronavirus and life. I have been notoriously wrong about the coronavirus because I think anything that I have to, thank you, Janine, by the way, for this question. Anything that I'm involved in, I don't see as clearly because it affects me too. So I really didn't think the coronavirus would last this long. I'd be like, yeah, right, it's gonna be fine, whatever. I do think it's now here to stay. Certainly not, we're not going to be done with it, where I used to think we would be done with it. Eventually we'll get done with this. I don't think we are. This is one of those like careful danger zones on public speaking, right? What do I think? Coronavirus and life. I think we're not done with it. We're not going to be done with it. We have to learn to live with it. I don't think we need to be afraid of it. And yet at the same time, I don't think we can make the assumptions that just because we're not afraid of it, that we have to not really take some precautions. That's my personal belief. That's not even intuitive. That's my personal belief. I know that I personally don't want to ever think that I was somebody who possibly passed it on to someone. That's all, because I would die. I would just die thinking, oh my God, I acted irresponsibly. I passed it along. So-and-so's mom died. I'm going to feel horrible. So I just want to keep myself smart and cautious. Not fearful. I'm not fearful, but I'm cautious for humanity's sake. Life, I think we really need to learn. We really need to learn about the interconnectivity of this planet and be reminded that we are one organism on this planet. We are not separate countries. We are not separate people, separate states, separate towns, separate individuals, separate families. We're one organism on this planet, and how cool that is, that we are so interconnected. And I think if we can think of like, wow, it's our own individual responsibility to take care of the whole, I think that's pretty cool. The cells of our own physical body, if our body as its whole was the universe as its whole, and each individual cell within the body represented each human being on the planet, we could learn a lot from the body's dynamics. So there are very specific stomach cells and brain cells and liver cells and skin cells and eye cells and all that stuff, right? But this is biology. And every single cell has a function and a purpose. And a skin cell does not try to become a stomach cell. It knows, oh, I'm here to be a skin cell, and I got a shelf life of whatever the skin cell's shelf life is. And the stomach cell goes, I got a job, and I'm not going to try to be a brain cell because I'm here for that. And I do believe as humans, we all have a purpose, and we're not supposed to try to have another purpose. So if you're an artist in this lifetime, that's your purpose. You need to be an artist. Maybe you make money at it. Maybe you don't. Maybe it's a hobby. Who cares? Your job is just to produce art and let that aspect of the world come out. So there's no selfishness. The stomach cell's not like, you know what? The brain cells are getting like all the props here. They're called smart, and I'm just breaking down food into shit, right? That's what the stomach cells are saying. But no, they're not doing that. They're like, cool, I got a job. I'm going to help the job. I'm going to do the best I can. And when I can't anymore, I'm going to go. I'm going to die. And it dies. But when a cell gets selfish and they don't want to go along with the flow of their entire organism's whole body's purpose, it doesn't die. And that's what we know as cancer. And so I think each individual person is like an individual cell. We all have a purpose, we have a job, and our job is to be who we are and contribute that to the planet, knowing that our job is no more or less than any other part of the planet. It's simply just a part of the whole to keep the whole organism together. If we all thought that way, we would be very healthy. The whole planet would be healthy. When we all of a sudden go, no, I want to be a brain cell. I want to be this. I don't want to be that. Don't tell me I can't do this. That's when things go haywire. So I think that's to your question, what's going on in life, I think we just need to really connect to our own purpose and recognize that even if you don't know what your purpose is, you have one and you are needed on this planet. Your breath, your awareness, your beingness is needed for the health of the whole. And just be you. That's it. Just be you. Do you, right? When they say, do you, boo, do you. And don't try to step on someone else's because there's more than enough to go around. There's a lot of responsibility and purpose to keep the whole organism together. And together we work together, even though we're separate. That's how I feel like the earth is right now. Stomach cells are the United States versus the liver cells, which might be Uruguay, which might be skin cells, which might be Morocco. I don't know. We're all the same. We're all just trying to keep the organism healthy. That's how I view life. So how can we do that? Being ourselves, which includes not knowing who we are. People will say, Deb, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what I'm here to do. And then your purpose is to find you. Find what you love. Find what matters to you. That's what your purpose is. So coronavirus, I think, has given us an opportunity to see how interconnected we are, how reliant upon each other we are for the health and safety of everyone else. That is not speaking fear. I have zero fear for myself or the planet. With this, I have only high hopes of awareness, our consciousness getting raised. But we have to just be on the side of watching the awareness of everybody. We have to be on that side versus the fearful blame side. Otherwise, then it's a shit show. Then it's just all a shit show. Okay, Marge is saying she feels very disconnected. I love how the book evolved into the more intuitive being. Thank you, Amber. Hello, Karen. Let's see. Hello, Melissa. Hello, Deb. I still laugh when I think of your IKEA excursion with Greg, one of the best Monday nights. Oh my God. Yeah, that was fun, right? Yeah, no, IKEA, here's some intuitive advice for everyone. Don't go to IKEA. Okay. And then if you have to go to IKEA because there's some sort of allure and draw to IKEA, don't do it with your partner. And then if you have to do it with your partner, go in separately. Yep. That's what we do. Thank you, Tiffany. Tiffany likes the analogy. So let's talk. Tell me, what do you want to know? Generalized, not personal intuitive questions. I'm not taking personal ones tonight. That's usually when I see the numbers drop off, where people are like, oh, I just wanted to know this. And then they're like, fuck that. I'm not staying with her. But I want to teach you guys. I want to talk about bigger things, so that you can arrive at your own answers intuitively with using your own intuition versus needing or thinking you need mine, which, trust me, that's cool. I love that. I love that people value my intuitive opinion and guidance. But what I think is cooler is, can I help you find your own? Can I help you find your own intuitive voice, your own intuition? I'd much rather that, you guys. I swear, I would much rather that. So that's what tonight's about. That and just basic overall tomfoolery. So Elena is asking, how do you connect with the consciousness of someone who's passed if they're living their reincarnated life? Can an intuitive person be aware that a medium is communicating with them? Ooh, super question. I have addressed the first question about how can you connect with the consciousness of someone who's passed if they're already in their reincarnated life. I have answered that, but the short answer to that, great question, does come up a lot, is that one, it is quite rare to reincarnate that quickly. So studies have been done on reincarnation, like copious studies, many people observed and researched. And it is rare to reincarnate within even a generation of your former reincarnation or your former life. So usually I think it was like 2 to 3 generations is usually how it takes, or how long it takes, which is about 60 years. So it's unusual, not impossible, because there are studies where someone has reincarnated literally within 9 months. The moment they died and the moment they were born was about a 9-month difference. So that is absolutely possible, but it's not common. However, even though we're reincarnated, we still don't lose let's just take myself, the Deborah that I am right now. When I die, there's nothing that can take away the Deborah that I am. So fast forward, let's say 100 years, just to give me some good leeway. 100 years from now, I'm dead and I get reincarnated. This Deborah self still existed. That does not change anything. But now as I move into new Deborah self, she is not all of me. She is still, or he is a new person with aspects of me today. So it's not all of me reincarnated, because that would not be possible. But there's an aspect of my consciousness that's reincarnated. So I still exist, even though I'm dead. And then a new version of me, or a new piece of me, gets moved into or reincarnated in the future. So since I'm always was, I can always be connected to. Does that make sense? And can an intuitive person be aware that a medium is connecting with them? And I'm assuming you mean like on the other side. So can an intuitive person be aware that a medium is connected? Intuitive or non-intuitive, those on the other side are super aware that a medium is connecting with them. Either way, whether they were intuitive or not, they all of a sudden know that, yes, a medium is connecting with them. Can an intuitive person be aware that I'm just taking the question in a different direction. I'm trying to apply it as if they were both still here, but then why would a medium be connecting with them? So does that answer your question, Elena? The relationship between human and soul. Elena, have you read my book? That would be my first recommendation, to be totally honest. It's called In the Presence of Proof. And I do talk a little bit about reincarnation, a little bit about I call it the human self versus the higher self, and the difference between the two, and what does the higher self mean, and how do we have a human identity and also be a part of this higher energy or consciousness. So my book, I would recommend my book. Is that not allowed? I would, probably, because I also just did a book group on my book. So I really don't think I did talk a lot about my book, just because I felt the way my personality is, I'm like, been there, done that, I'm over it. And I just think like, because I'm over it, people are over it. And then tonight's book club, people were very much showing me like, no, we have questions. We want you to clarify this. And I was like, oh, cool. That's so cool. So if you've read my book, let me know. But if you haven't, that'd be the one to get. You love the color of this cup. Why, thank you. See, this is why I like my tribe, because we can talk about human consciousness and connectivity and then be like, stellar freaking solo cup, Deborah, way to go. And that's how we roll. And I'm like, I know, right? It's freaking cool. Okay. So, Carolyn, what is the biggest hint that something is intuition over fear or something else? Good question. A lot of people ask this. How do I know this isn't my fear talking or this is my intuition? Usually, I mean, there's many components to this, but I'll boil it down to if the same theme arises or the fear arises within the same theme, it is probably your own fears and biases. For example, if it's with relationships and you just say, no, nobody's trustable, and you go out with a guy or girl, and male or female, some people get offended if you say girl versus woman. So male or female, if you go out with a male or female, and something about them doesn't feel right, but you've done this before and you constantly are fearful of people all the time, it probably is just your fear speaking versus your intuition. So you have to kind of notice, like, is there a theme around this? Do I feel fearful all the time in this particular topic or area? Also, usually fear will come up, and everybody needs to hear this, like, loud and clear. Hey, Janet Boyle, how are you? Oh my God, that is a name from my past. That's exciting to see up here. Holy crap, hello. So I digress. I got interrupted. Oh, look, a squirrel. Shit, where was I going with that? Hold on, I'll get it in a minute. Fear, theme, crap. I was just so excited to see your name, Janet. Fear. Where was I? Don't know. I don't know where I was with that. Biggest hint that something is to intuition over fear. Oh, yeah, I got it. Thanks. Got it. Whoever said, hey, she's going to get it. Thanks. You sent it back to me. So a lot of times fear comes up around any changes we're making. So you cannot confuse the fear with an actual intuitive gut on something if you're changing jobs or if you're changing relationship status, if you're making a change to move, if you're making a change for major weight loss or health differences. A lot of time fear comes up because we get nervous about the unknown, and we are so connected to who we think we are that when we try to climb ourselves out of the box of who we think we are, we start getting fearful. Well, what if I prove that I can't handle this? What if this all falls apart? What if I'm not as good as I thought? What if nobody likes me? What if this new relationship doesn't last at all? What if the move is the worst thing I ever did? You guys know. And so that type of fear is not intuitive fear. It's just change fear. It's normal. It's transformational fear. And you move yourself through it. You move yourself through it. You keep going forward. And if the universe really does not want you to do something, the universe is going to make sure you don't do it. So if you keep wanting something and you keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and the universe is like, nope, try again, gain some softness around whatever's going on. Meaning, don't feel like you have to like break the doors down of the universe. Instead, kind of go, okay, universe, or God, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what to do here. I'm going to surrender it. I remember when Greg and I were looking at houses, we found a house that I loved. It was on the Hudson River. It was big house, beautiful views, huge decks, gorgeous fireplace. It would fit to all of us, his children, mine. And I was like, this is our house. This is what I want. This is the house. This is it. And every single corner we turned, that house was a no. Every time the universe told me no, I was like, right, no, I don't do no. You don't tell me no. We're doing this. And I would go the next step, and we would go the next step, and we could do this, and we're going to do that. And the universe kept like going, you might want to have a backup house. And I was like, nope, this is the one I want. You are not going to find me a house better than this one. And I want this one house. And we put a bid on that house. And my gut, I went into my intuition, this house is going to sell for this much. I know it. This is what we're offering. Blah, 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 blah. Put an offer in the house, and somebody bid $5,000 more than we did on that house. And it was done. It was taken away from us. And we were the only ones looking, by the way, for the longest time. And then it was done. It was over. And someone bid $5,000 more than us. And we did not get that house. And I remember thinking, I'm going to blow up the universe now because I'm pissed. I am so pissed. Now, then we found our current house, which is an entirely different school district, much newer home, bigger home, better home. And now I realize, oh, the universe was trying to help me. And I was like, you're a jackass, you universe. Step off. I know what I'm doing. And the universe is like, oh, for God's sake. Okay, sure. You can keep doing it, but it's not going to happen. So we keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, even though the universe might say, no, stop. I got something better lined up for you. If you just shut up, I will get it for you. And we don't until we do. So I tell that story because here I am, an intuitive, and by the way, the house sold for exactly the amount that I said it would. And I still pushed the envelope, and that house, we found out, was a nightmare. And all those big, beautiful decks that were there, like, were not okay, and they fell apart, and it needed like $70,000 worth of new decks and lots of work, which would have been a nightmare. Plus, it would have been in a school district that would not have been good for my kids, and I moved to a school district we moved to a school district that was perfect for my children. So the universe worked it out for me, thank goodness. So please don't ever confuse fear around changing as the universe's sign of no, but also take the universe's hint that if it's a no and a no and a no, soften it and say, okay, I don't know what to do here. Surrender to it and then see what happens. I don't mean give up. I never will tell you to give up, but just surrender to it. Do I believe that everyone is born with being intuitive? Absolutely, 100%. It is our sixth sense, and we have a lot more of it younger. And over time, we just get conditioned to not trust it. But yes, I do believe that everyone is born intuitive. Ooh, okay. Maria, a very close friend, has recently been diagnosed with cancer, has been told to get her things in order. How do I help her now? How do I help me again? Ugh, yuck. It's holding that space for whatever conversation needs to come up at the time. I know a lot of people don't want to talk about, well, I need you to do this, or I want you to do this, or after I die, or when I die. People say, no, don't say that. And we really don't want to tell somebody who's going to die to not say that. Like, no, you're going to be okay. And I don't think you're doing this, Maria, because I know you, but I don't even know you, but I feel like I know you. You know that? We know that. Anyway, I digress. People often try to dismiss someone else's talking about death, and the important thing is to let them talk. I know that when I die, I want to make sure, like, did you hear me? I want these things done, or I want you to know this. So it is important to just hold the space for them. And then just do things. Don't ask. And again, Maria, you know this. Just go ahead and do things for the person, because as you are dying, you really don't give a rat's ass. As much as you want some things done, you don't give a rat's ass about anything anymore, because you're unwinding from being human, and those things don't really matter, even if they do matter. So go ahead, and if they hint like, I really wish, my closets were cleaned out, then just go ahead and do that. Go and clean out their closets without asking them, which closet should I clean, and all that stuff. And how do you help me? How do you help yourself? Pre-grieving is tough. Make sure you tell them everything you feel like you need to tell them, positive or negative, even if someone's hurt you and you feel like you need to tell them, do that. Tell them if you forgive them, or you were angry with them but you're not anymore. Any kind of communication is super important. Any authentic and real communication. Not frivolous stuff, not the stuff you think they need to hear, but the real stuff, the good stuff. Tiffany, will your book help me to feel not stuck? If so, we'll get ASAP. The book is a lot about the afterlife and the other side and my story. It starts leading towards how you get not stuck. I mean, people in the book group were saying, yes, it did help them get unstuck. So yes, but people still don't realize, like, I do a lot of workshops, a lot of teaching. And right now it is all completely on Zoom. I am on, we're, week 10 of a 12-week coaching program that we've been doing every Sunday morning, that we meet at 8 a.m. on Zoom, and we are just learning new content and having new homework and things to do and become aware of every week. I do meditation every single Sunday night, which for anybody who is starting off feeling stuck, not knowing what to do, I cannot say this enough. I was just talking about this, I think it was last night, to Greg, where people will tell me, I'm stuck. I need help. I don't know what to do. I want a reading with you, which I get, but we do have a system for readings, and I do believe when you're supposed to have one, you will. But when I tell you the value that my meditation group offers people, and you guys can speak for itself, please do not discount the power of this dumb little meditation. Sunday night, 7:30 to 9 p.m. We meet on Zoom. You could be in your pajamas. I'm in my pajamas. I cannot tell you, I've been doing this for 15 years, and people aren't hearing me. I keep saying to Greg, it's $15 to attend. So if money is an issue, if the $15 is an issue, let us know. A true issue, let us know. But it's $15, and you will learn so much about yourself, so much about all this process. It is so unbelievably valuable. And for me to say that about myself makes me sound like such an asshole. Like, it makes me sound like I'm so full of myself. But it boggles my mind that I talk about it all the time, and people are like, I can't meditate. No, what else do you got? And I will tell you, I can make a ton of money. I'm telling you guys, a ton of money on things that don't resonate with me. I charge $15 because I want it accessible to people. For an hour and a half, I will teach you how to go inward. I then sit with the group and we process your meditation, and we learn and we dive deeper into, what does this mean? What did we get out of it? Why is this experience happening? Oh my God, I cleared this. How did that happen? Why do I feel so good? Why do I feel not good? Oh my God, I met my deceased relative. I am telling you, and I don't think I talk about it enough. I might have started last week. That is your starting point. I could tell you I've got a $4,000 course. That is your starting point. I'm not going to. I'm just not. I'm not going to, because I truly believe in my Sunday night meditation classes, 7:30 to 9 p.m. They're recorded. Even if you can't make it live, I encourage you to make them live, but if you can't, they're still recorded. It can be life changing. And people still go, nah, I don't want that. And then they're like, you're charging too much money for this and that. And I'm like, oh my God, please take me up on that. Please try meditation. Please. 7:30 to 9 p.m., comfort of your own home, on your laptop or your phone. Give me the hour and a half. Let's do it. Let's try it. All of that's on my website every Sunday night, 7:30 to 9 p.m. That's what we're doing. And there's regulars and there's a couple of new people every week, but that's where it's at. I'm telling you, I've seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people over the last 15 years who have made dramatic changes in their life, and they only attended meditation. So please, I'm not being a jerk about it. I was talking to Greg the other night, where I get a little, I don't know if it's frustrated. I guess it is frustrated. I want to help people. I swear, that's all I want to do. It's all I care about. I dissect my every inner thought and emotion in order to learn about my own internal process so that I can help people with theirs. Because I get it. I get life on a level that I can't even explain. And I'm finally even able to say it, where I feel like, oh my God, I sound so full of myself by saying that. I'm a shithead too. I get angry and I do all sorts of stupid things. I eat cookie dough I'm not supposed to. I do all that stuff too. I know better. I don't always do better. I'm very, 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 very human, very connected to my human asshole side. But there's also this part of me that is incredibly connected, incredibly connected. I can feel when you are getting something. I can feel when you're stuck. I can feel when you're giving me a line of bullshit. I can feel all that. And that's the stuff I want to help people with. So people will say, I'm really sad. I don't know what to start. I'm going to tell you $15 meditation class is where you start with me. I have an online meditation class. It gives you 10 different classes to experience all different types of meditation. That's on teachable.com right now. But the live meditations are every Sunday night. It's not even 15 some months because you could also sign up class by class, or you could do just a monthly membership to them. So month by month. It's only a month by month commitment type of thing. So that's out there, you guys. It's there because I want it accessible. I want my work with you accessible. Then maybe you decide to take a class. Then maybe you just decide to do coaching or ETA, my energy transformation awareness, or not. Then maybe, a session with me one-on-one for an hour is what you need. But when I tell you the time with me in coaching, it's so many hours and time in coaching together. I can't tell you, people will fight. I just want the 1 hour session. I'm like, I get it, but I promise you I got better stuff for you. I got better stuff. So that's all out there. I'm just saying it. Just saying it because I need to say it. Do I sound rude? I don't want to sound rude, but I do want to sound emphatic. Ah, goodness. Okay, Noreen, let's go back to your questions. Noreen, my kids are starting to ask a lot of questions about dying in the afterlife. As the 10th anniversary of the passing of their triplet brothers approaches, I am struggling. I don't want to scare them. You will only scare them by not talking about it. So be raw, be real, be clear on there's some things you don't know and wish you did, and there's some things that you do know for sure and that you're sad and they're always with you. My favorite books, we just talked about this in my book club, for teaching death and talking about death to children, but to all people, are The Fall of Freddie the Leaf by Leah Buscaglia. And The Little Soul in the Sun is my other favorite children's book. It doesn't really talk about death, but it talks about like kind of before we come into life, the agreements that we make here. So those are two good books, but you can't scare them. The only thing that scares people is not talking. And then all of a sudden he's like, maybe mom's sad. I don't want to make her sad. Or, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Like, really encourage discussion about anything. I don't care. I do think, I have an amazing, and I thank God literally every day for this, I have an amazing relationship with all three of my teenage sons. We talk about everything. We laugh about everything. They can bring me everything. They can tell me stuff I don't even want to know, but they tell me. And it's because we talk, the communication. And if they don't know something, or if I don't know something, I'll be like, I don't freaking know. I don't even know. Just a shit show. Or sorry you picked this mother who doesn't cook lots of meals for you. Be honest, be real. And then there's nothing to be scared of by any means. Tiffany is asking, Deb, I always wondered, how do mediums ever get a break? Is it just constant people who pass coming to you trying to connect? And how do you sleep? I sleep very well, very well. I have heard some mediums say it never turns off, including the Long Island medium. I question that. I've never met her personally. I don't know anything about her. I've never even watched her show. But I've heard her, like in an interview on like The View or something, say that it never shuts off. I don't have that at all. I am either on or I'm off. Because for me, it's a very deliberate attention and focus on a particular consciousness, a particular level of awareness. So I'm right now, I am absolutely not inviting in that level of awareness. So, hey, Kara, how are you? My God, you've been on my mind a lot, lady. We really should connect, by the way. So sorry, look, a squirrel. And back to the program. So, no, for me, I'm off. When I'm on, I'm off, I'm off. Although some mediums say otherwise, I'm questionable about that. I don't know. Is it really that they can't shut it off, or is that shtick? I think it might be a little shticky. I think others, I mean, that would seriously, to be honest, and make me sound like an asshole. I think that's bordering mental illness too, though. Like, hearing voices and hearing all that information all the time is very disturbing. Like, it's too much input in the brain is what it feels like for me. So we don't all get our information the same way. So I shouldn't say they're bordering mental illness. That makes me sound like a jerk. But for me, if I had that, I would feel like I had a mental illness. I would be like, oh my God, I'm hearing voices and I'm going crazy. So I used to hear it more very early on because I was wanting to test it and prove it more. So, so it was on more, but now I'm like, oh, I'm working or I'm not. Kind of like when you go to work and you leave work, you don't want to do work anymore. It's kind of the same way with me. Like, I'm done. I'm out. If I'm in the store, nope. I'm not hearing about your grandfather. Nope. I don't want it. I'm not on the clock. I'm tired right now. So thankfully it does work that way for me. Hello, Trisha. You're new here. Thank you for joining in. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. I've had some. Melissa, you're saying that I know me. I know when something isn't right. Lately, I'm questioning myself. How does one get back to their self with their inner self? Great question. First of all, if it's a constant, kind of goes back to what Carolyn was asking before. If there's a constant feeling like there's something not right with me, there's something not right with me, there might be something else not right with you, just like an anxiety issue or just a self-doubt issue, which we can handle. But then there's another level of like, doctors told me 4 years ago when I was having a serious health issue, there's nothing wrong with your back. And I thought, well, that's weird because I can't fucking walk. So I don't know. To me, there's something wrong with my back. Something is very, very wrong because at one point I could walk and now I can't. So you have to trust your gut, particularly with health issues. If you go through extensive diagnostics and nothing is showing up, then I would really consider more a holistic approach, more handling the different energetic bodies of yourself, your mental and emotional body. And mental doesn't mean like something's wrong with you. I mean like the way your brain thinks. So there's so many different layers and levels of healing that Western medicine is really only trying to find the physical problems, but more holistic medicines are looking at the body as a whole. What thoughts are you having when you're having a particular episode? Or what was your history in your past that you've kind of suppressed but now is emerging? Our cells are carrying memory. So if we had a traumatic issue in the past, our stomachs might be technically and physically fine, but you might manifest a physical problem in the stomach that's really of an emotional nature. So that's when you need other levels of healing that most Western medicine does not address. So if you feel like something's not right, then exhaust all of medical opinions and professional opinions that you can, and then go deeper into some self-work. Again, meditation. I know I sound like so annoying, but meditation is just like key part of that insight. Sometimes we're so uncomfortable or life is so miserable that you just can't meditate. You can't go inward. You can't focus. I had that during my health issues. So sometimes you can't. And if you can't, you can't. You just go, oh, I'm out. I need someone else's help right now. And that's totally fine. Then balance will get restored. Let's see. I always get so grateful for your questions, you guys, by the way. I hope you know that. I hope you feel that. I hope I send that out to you. Like the fact that you're still tuning in is like, wow, thank you. I can't tell you like how incredible that means to me. So Kristen, when you feel someone's presence or do you recognize signs from someone, how do you differentiate whether their energy is just visiting you or if they're signaling a warning of some sort? That's another great question. Usually a warning, well, they don't need to give us even a signal of warning. If something is not, if we're not supposed to really do something, or if something is not supposed to occur, like say dating, you're not supposed to date that person, they're not going to give you this little like subtle hint, like, I don't know, they have a dagger across their forehead or something tattooed and stuff. And they're like, something doesn't feel right about this guy. I don't know, because now I'm going to meet a man with a dagger across his forehead and he's going to be like the nicest human ever. And I'm going to be like, shit, I was giving you as an example. But you guys know what I mean. If you're not supposed to go somewhere, be with someone, do something, they don't have to give you a warning. They're going to just make sure it doesn't happen. So just know that that is there. The other is just know that they're always with you and that they're always, hey, Martha, I see you over here. Just know that they're always with you, but the power ultimately ends up with you. So if you're getting a sense like, something's not right here, it may or may not be them, but always trust yourself. Does that make sense? It kind of contradicts what I said earlier, but not totally in my head. But I hope I answered that. If not, let me know. Hello, Sherry. How can one learn more about spirit world? What do they do? Angels, I lost my son. Ugh, I want to bring my intuitiveness to a higher level best way. People don't like when I say this at first. So hear me out for this whole thing. But truly the quickest and best way to connect with anyone on the other side is to use your imagination. Pretend they're sitting right next to you. Why do I say that? People go, I don't want to pretend it. I want it to actually happen. I know. That's why people don't like when I say use your imagination. But let me tell you why I say this. There's two kind of parts to our brain. Not literally. I'm obviously not a neuroscientist yet. But there's two sides to the brain. There's this very left brain, logical, black and white, very sequentially ordered time and space side of our mind. And then there's the intuitive side, or also known as the creative side. And the intuitive side is just kind of connecting the dots to things that, even though they're not in sequence, things make sense. You feel connected. There's love, there's bliss, there's things you can't explain, but in the right side. So when we use our imagination, it's like there's this like little bridge between our brain. There actually literally is. It's called the corpus callosum. And it's a part of our brain that kind of sends the information from the left side to the right side and back and forth through the corpus callosum. But I like to imagine that as a little bridge. And the little bridge is like, okay, use your imagination so that the logical brain does not shut you down with things like, Sherry, I don't know why you're talking to your son because he's passed and he's not here. That's what the logical mind says. And the logical mind is like, no, when we die, we're done and that's it. And there's some truth to that. There's a physical truth. When our body dies, the body dies. So the left brain isn't wrong, but it's also not giving the full story. The intuitive side is like, Sherry, please talk to him. He's right here next to you. He's here with you all the time. He's okay. He knows you love him. He knows you're around and he's around you. But these two brains battle because the logical mind is like, you're such an idiot, intuition. That is not how it works. And the intuitive side is like, it totally is. But the intuitive side is more subtle. It's not as aggressive. And it wants to fight the logical mind, but the logical mind is like, yeah, why don't you shut that down? Why don't you stop that? And then we feel very distraught and disconnected. And the intuitive mind is like, okay. So when we use our imagination is the bridge that says, hey, it's like the little intuitive side goes across the bridge and it says to the logical mind, listen, I got a deal to make. Let's let Sherry pretend that her son is here. Will you let that happen so that she can connect? And the logical mind is like, oh, pretend? Yeah, I'm in charge of pretending. Doesn't make any sense, but I'll allow it because we know it's pretend. And the intuitive mind is like, woohoo, I just won the battle because I had to trick the logical mind so the logical mind would shut the fuck up and get out of the picture. And now we just gave it the direction like, all right, let's pretend. So logical mind, okay, we're pretending. It sits down and the intuitive mind takes over. Because the imagination is the bridge between the intuitive side and the logical side. And it will help you every time to shut up the brain, that part of you that says, stop this. This is crazy. There's something wrong with you. And then, people like, oh, well, he died and maybe you're not dealing with his grief because you want to connect with him. No, that's no. Nope. You're aware he's deceased. You know that. We all know that about the people we love. You're logically very aware of that. But there's also something in us that says, but I miss him and I want him to be here. And sometimes I feel him or at least I want to feel him. And so what do? So using your imagination will shut up your logical mind because it will still think it's in charge while the intuitive mind takes over. And whatever your conversation is, oh my gosh, I just miss you so much. I just want to know you're here. I'm so sorry. I hate this. Whatever the conversation is you have with them, please let me know. Please show me that you're around. All of that will occur and you'll be able to be more open to hear within the mind's ear. You'll be able to hear their responses and their discussion back to you. Whereas before, if you heard it, the logical mind be like, nope, that's not him. He's dead. Nope, that's not it. And it's sickening. It's sickening. So it's our logical brains that do have a purpose in this world, but I say this all the time, the logical mind has no domain over the heart or the intuitive self. It cannot control it and it can't understand it. The logical mind is very good at, hot stove, don't touch it. Red light, gotta stop. Logical mind is great for, I better put my socks on before I put my shoes on. And before I even do that, I should probably shower without my clothes on. It's very logical, makes a logical sense. So the logical mind has a function in our world, but it does not do shit to help us connect, and we need to shut it down. And the imagination is how you shut it down. So it's a long answer, but I like to be very thorough with it because I want all of you to know that you're not making it up. We're just saying pretend so that the mind just, okay, I'm going to pretend. Use your imagination. I hope that helps. I know that's a long way, but that truly is the easiest way to just connect is pretend that you're connecting because you are. I can't pretend that I will feel no connection if I say I'm connecting to a Mars and a Martian, right? Like I could pretend I'm connecting to a Martian, but I'll know that I'm not really because I don't know that I know that they're out there. But if I connect and pretend that I'm connecting with a loved one who's passed, I feel differently about that. So you're not making it up. I'm not saying to make it up. I'm saying to just pretend it to facilitate the process. Hello, Dennis. Good to see you on here. I smell cigarette. Liz is saying, I smell cigarette smoke around my house sometimes and no one's smoking. Can that be from the other side? Like, hi, I'm here. Yes, cigarette smoke is a big one. I hear that one a lot. Cigar smoke. I've heard, oh my God, sawdust for people who used to be carpenters, rose oil for people who like to have roses. Their perfumes we will smell if we associate their perfume with them, certain cooking things. If someone baked with a lot of cinnamon, they'll smell cinnamon. So I've heard these things all the time. So when you smell a scent for no reason, it's that they are visiting you for sure. And really deeper on the neurological level, I'll tell you what's happening, but it's all connected to the other side. On the neurological level, our memory is most associated with our sense of smell, which is like a known thing. So anytime we smell something, we instantly go back to a memory of it. So when people say, actually today I was making the buttersquash soup And my son said, God, it smells like Thanksgiving. And he had all these memories of Thanksgivings in the past because his sense of smell triggered the memory of Thanksgiving. So our smell does that all the time. But it goes in reverse too. If you're having a memory of someone and you associate a smell with them, you'll suddenly start smelling it. Then you ask, but I wasn't having a memory of someone. The smell came to me. What happened in the brain is kind of like the loved ones on the other side kind of send you like a little text, and your brain receives the text and it picks up on the memory and it makes you start smelling them. So they know you're not going to hear the text or get the text mentally, but the brain registers their text with a memory with them, which is why you smell them. So it goes in reverse as well. I hope that makes sense. Trisha, that does sound like it is your mom. And I always say to people, when people say, I think that might be so-and-so, but I'm not sure, I'll ask you, well, do you ever think it's your great-grandfather? And people are like, no. Exactly. Why do you think it's one person, not the other? So we do have a lot more intuition and a sense of who on the other side is coming through. But we think maybe we're making it up, like, because I'm assuming you want to hear from your mom. So you might say, well, I think it's my mom, but maybe I just want it to be my mom. Well, why didn't you think it was your great-grandfather? Well, I didn't know him. Doesn't matter. Why didn't you think of him? So pay attention to, when I see this number, I think of so-and-so. Is that them? If you think of them, then yes, 100%. Because we don't say, gosh, every time I see this particular number, I think of Abe Lincoln. We don't say that. So it's not Abe Lincoln. It's so-and-so. Or every time I see this number, I think of George Washington. Oh, then you've got a cool connection with George Washington. So yes, trust your guts, everybody. Trust your guts. Kara is saying, is there anything the 2 to 3 a.m. hour? My dog wakes up exact time every night, barks like crazy. I have to bring him back to bed. I always wonder if someone is visiting me. It is quite possible, absolutely, because dogs are super, super, super intuitive. So pets, animals in general, not just dogs, are super intuitive, especially if it's the same time. I mean, you might want to look, I always err on the side of logic just to cross off some logical possibilities. So if like your neighbor's getting home or there's someone, I know you live in the city, so if someone's across the way and their lights go on at 3 a.m., is your dog seeing that? So I would kind of see if you could rule out any logical reasons. And if there are none that you can identify, and again, going back to what I was just saying, if you get a sense like maybe someone else is here, it could absolutely be them as well. Let's see. Oh, now everyone's talking about meditation group. See, all my meditation people are talking. Good. Yes, Ina, my squash soup sister, say that 10 times. She made squash soup today too. Meditation class on my site. So if you go to my site, which is a very confusing site, I know, we'll be fixing it shortly. If you go on my site and then find the tab for calendar, click on calendar, and then go to any Sunday night, you will see my meditation. Or if you're on my Facebook like business page or my Facebook like fan page or main page, then we post it there as well for every single week that you can click and join. If you ever have any questions like, hey, I can't find the link, just email my office at info@beingknowingdoing.com. Let's see. Sometimes Michael is saying, sometimes I get a feeling that I shouldn't take this road or drive, and sometimes feel like I'm going to die. Is this my intuition or just my anxiety kicking in? That's so common. I mean, I have that. I have like this constant reoccurring vision of major accident on the side of the road all the time. And I'm like, is it because there was one here and I'm picking up on it, or am I seeing my own? Like, what is happening here? So it's very, very, very common. So it could be your anxiety, totally. Dig deeper into it when you notice it. So if it's like, I shouldn't take this road, is it because I'm going to die? It's usually where our brains go because we're so morbid. All of us, we're crazy. And I mean that in a wonderful, loving way. We all are. Is it that, or is it like, yeah, it's just not the right way for me to go? So I wouldn't entertain the whole don't take this road because you're going to die part. But if you're getting that little hit, like, yeah, no, don't take this road today. Okay, I'm not going to take that road today. I don't know why. I'm just not going to. That'll soften the anxiety so that the anxiety isn't louder than the intuition, because that definitely does happen. And you don't give it reason. Like, I don't know. I've totally, this happens to me all the time where I'm like, make a right. And I'm like, I don't want to make a right. That's a long way around. Make a right. Just, could you go right, Deb? And I'm like, no, I got to go straight. And I go straight and then I'm stuck in traffic. Yep. And I'm like, son of a bitch, I know better, but I don't even do better. I'm like, I'm getting a very strong intuitive hit. I don't feel like listening because I always think I'm smarter. Yeah. So, but kind of just drop the whole don't go there because you're going to die part. Normal, but we don't want to feed into it. Just be like, yeah, something's telling me not to go that way today. I don't know why. And that's it. And leave it at that. Let's see. Amanda, do you ever have someone who's past, known or not known, push their way into your awareness or force you into acknowledge them when you're in your off time? Yes, I have. Less now than before, and even less since I'm like a hermit in my house during quarantine. Happily so, by the way. I hardly ever go anywhere in public just because I really like my house. I love being here. But so it's less and less and less. But yeah, absolutely. I remember when I had my center, I was leading a meditation class, and I always kind of joke to myself, like I'm leading a meditation class. I'm with a group of people, and I called it my firewall. Like I have a firewall up. Like this is not the time for mediumship. This is the time for meditation, and this is what we do. So I mean, for 15 years I've been doing this. And one night, I'm trying to lead the meditation, and I keep hearing somebody on the other side, and I'm like, dude, you gotta go. Like, I gotta lead. Like, everybody's in their space, and it's quiet, and I'm supposed to say the next thing, but you keep interrupting me, and I can't really listen to both. And he's telling me all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, got it. Can you go? Could you go, please? Because I had this long pause in meditation because I'm having a conversation with this other thing in my head. Not thing, human, person, spirit, energy. And so I was like, I promise you, I remember all this, but could you go? Because these people are like flying in outer space right now, and I got to bring them back, and I got to go. So finally, meditation ends. I haven't seen her on here, but maybe she is. Her name is Antonetta. She'll remember Antonetta. And I'm like, listen, this guy came to me, or this person came to me, and they kept telling me this, and I don't know, they broke the firewall. They're not supposed to come through during meditation. And this woman in the group was like, oh my God, that's my so-and-so, and blah, blah, blah. So yes, it has happened. It's rare, but it does happen. If I'm in like a mall or a store, and that's happening, I will not relay the information because I've learned. Again, I've wrote some stories in my book that did not go over so well when I was like, somebody's coming through. They must want me to be the messenger. And then I was the messenger. And then I was basically told, the main story in my book is I was at a foot doctor appointment. I was getting an injection of cortisone in my foot. And the nurse kept talking about her dad who died. And I had felt him before she even started talking about him, but I was ignoring him because I'm going to get a shot in my foot. And at that moment, I'm sorry, you guys, I can't focus on your people. I'm scared. I'm getting shot in my foot. So I ignored him. But then she started talking about her dad who passed. So I thought, all right, I guess this means you want me to tell her some stuff. So I did. And I said, like sometimes people can hear people who are deceased and like, John Edward and all that stuff. I do that awkward talk. And I said, well, that's what I do. And this woman, she had this big giant needle. And she was like, so then you know that you do the work of the devil, right? That was the last time I ever did that. That was the last time I was like, nope. Nope. I personally don't think that's the work of the devil, but apparently you do. And I probably should have said something. I was so pissed off at her father because I was like, really, dude? Like, didn't you know she wasn't going to be receptive to that? Why'd you put me in that spot? Bang, I got an injection. I swear to God, I never went back to that foot doctor again. I won't say who it is, but I never went back to that office again. I have another foot doctor who I love in Poughkeepsie. So anyway, so yes, that does happen. I've been doing a lot of volunteer work in disability community because it's fulfilling. When will my paid job and what I feel is my life work be the same? So it's a good question. A lot of people say that to me. So if you can bring in the fact that your life's work, meaning the work that you want to do, and the work that pays you, if they're not the same, that doesn't mean that you are doing anything wrong. It just means that one is paying your bills and not feeling so fulfilling, but yet you are at least aware enough to know that there's this other part of your life that is fulfilling. So you're already doing your life's work. Now, if you want to kick that up a notch, you can take a big giant leap and jump into your life's work, trusting that the universe has your back, as little Gabriella Bernstein always says. And just jump and just go for it. And I do believe that the net will always appear. When we love what we do, money is not an issue because it's not draining. When your job is draining, they better as well help pay you a lot. So it seems that there's a payoff. But I have never seen someone ever come to me and say, I'm living my life's work and I'm so happy and I love every part of my day, but finances are a big problem because when you're living what you love, everything else does work out. And I know that's one of those statements that sounds such like so out of touch, like, oh, please, honey, you don't know what you're talking about. But when you're happy, your vibration is higher. And then life just corresponds to that happier, higher vibration and things work out. Maybe your spouse gets a raise, or maybe your house gets paid off, or a big lump sum of money comes in from somewhere. Somehow in the universe, it all works out. So just keep going into the trusting of it, which is definitely very difficult. Let's see. Karen is saying this morning, yes, thank you, Michelle. Michelle's saying, F her about that nurse. Yeah, that was terrible. I wonder if I'll ever meet her. I don't even know if I'd know her if I saw her. If I went back to that office and she was still there, I would know her. But if I like ran into her on the street, I don't think I'd know her. I think I blocked her out of my soul. Not because there's anything wrong with her. It's fine. Go with God, but go. But I was just like, wow, someone literally thinks I'm like Satan now. That was the first experience that someone equated me with Satan. The second would have been my divorce. Oh my God, and he might be right. I digress. So this morning, as I was waking up in the face of a childhood playmate popped in my head. I know he passed away last year. At the time, I was unable to picture his face. Why would this happen now? Hard to say. It could go back to the memory thing, like if he passed around this time last year. Our senses are so intelligent that sometimes just like by the level of the sun, like in October in the Northeast, we'll start to set off these memories. And we're like, oh my God, why do I feel so bad? Like, why do I feel so blah? And then you realize, oh my gosh, yeah, when I was 3, so-and-so died around this time. And just by the angle of the sun will trigger something. So why now? Why not now? Maybe someone who's attached to your friend might reach out to you or vice versa. It's hard to say why now. It's just really good that you're aware of it because maybe in 4 days or 3 days from now, you're going to get like a call or you're going to come across a picture of the two of you and you're going to be like, oh my God, that's wild. I just had this whole thing pop up. And that's not coincidence. We talk about that as coincidence. Like that, Deborah, I had this really cool coincidence. It's not. We got to get that word out of our vocabulary big time. Let's see. Hey, Deb, we bought a fan cutout of Sarah, and she's in the stands in the Baltimore Ravens Stadium. Oh my God, I just got chills on that, Sharon. It's been so easy to pretend that she's really here. I haven't seen you and Mike in a long time. So it is easier to pretend. And when we pretend, psychologists and psychiatrists many years ago would have been like, no, don't do that. Don't pretend. Okay, good thing we're evolving. Today, a lot of psychologists and psychiatrists are seeing the value and benefit of the work of true mediums, like true mediums that are not out for fear and scariness, and true mediums. I have several therapists that will contact my office and they will say, I have a client who I cannot help pass this grief. Can you help them? And for anyone who is a therapist, if you have a client like that, when you, the therapist, contact my office and suggest a client or recommend a client to me, then we will hand schedule them. I don't want any information from you. You're not supposed to through HIPAA, I know, but I do want to hear from the therapist itself. Otherwise, everyone would be like, my therapist told me I need to come to you. So I do want the therapist yourselves to tell me, like, yep, I think you may be of value and help to my client. I am not a therapist. I will meet with your client one time. I don't do repeats for anybody. I don't see people more than twice a year for mediumship because I don't think that helps the process, believe it or not. Because grief is a really intense process that needs to be you need to go through it. And a lot of times people want to use a medium just to get them through it, which I totally get. But on my end, on ethical side, I don't think I'm helping the process psychologically if I'm your crutch. So I know I can take an edge off and I can help clear up some stuff for you, but I can't replace the grief process. So there's a fine line there. But if you are a therapist and you have a client who is open to seeing a medium, by all means, get permission from them to contact us. Say, yep, I recommend so-and-so. I would love for you to see them. And then we will hand schedule you. Also, I don't always mention this, but if you are a parent who has lost a child or has a child who passed, I should say, we also hand schedule your sessions. We don't wait for you to jump online. That does not apply to miscarriages or babies that were like stillborn or babies that you didn't have a lot of interaction with, only because, not that I'm minimizing that passing, but there's not a lot of mediumship abilities from me to do in those circumstances. So if you had a child who passed of an illness or an accident or something else, if you ever want a session, just email my office, say, hey, I'm a mom, I'm a dad, I had my child pass. You don't have to say male or female, you don't have to say anything else. But just let us know and then we will hand schedule you versus trying to get an appointment online. I don't always tell everybody that openly. Let's see. Hello, Laura. How are you? Good to see you on here. Let's see. When is your next mediumship class? I love the first one. I would love to explore more of this. I'm still working on it. I'm so caught up with the coaching that November, I am resetting everything. I'm going to re-record my audiobook for my book. I am going to work on a lot of the online content. So I'm not going to have too many classes. Meditation is a constant in November. And then I'll probably be offering a lot of stuff for January, just because then we're in December, the holidays, we're all totally screwed up in the holiday time. Black Friday, though, is always my yearly, we call it promotion, but I always feel like I'm like Crazy Eddie when I use the term promotion. But every Black Friday, we open up a ability to purchase a gift certificate for yourself for the holidays or someone else. And it comes with an already planned appointment time. And the reason why I do this is because a lot of times, you all have to go online, and my appointments book up very quickly online, and people will say, oh my God, I can't get an appointment. But on Black Friday, you can purchase a time. We give the time and date on the certificate though, so you don't get a choice of time or date. Like if it says Monday, I don't know, January 15th at 10 p.m., that is the appointment. That is the give and take of it. So that's available Black Friday. Well, if you're on my mailing list, we'll let you know. Let's see. Marge, you said my mother met you at the door. What do you mean? Tell me. Remind me. Let's see. Looking forward to tomorrow night's gallery. Thank you, Karen. I'm bringing someone else who's a first timer. Can't wait to see a reaction. I love bringing newbies. Oh, thank you so much, Karen. I'm excited about galleries in person too. Like I had been doing so many of them before COVID. I didn't realize how exhausted I was. And now post-COVID, I'm like, felt really good to be in front of people, like live. I couldn't even believe it. So I'm amazed at how well the Winding Hills Golf Course really handled the social distancing. We were outside. It was a beautiful night. Tomorrow night it might be a little chillier, but they've got those portable heaters going on. So we'll have a great time. Let's see. Oh, you came in for a reading and your mom met me at the door. I love that. I love when that happens, when people are like, they're not following my rules. Because I usually tell people for a session, like, don't start talking to me and making me know that you're here until I'm ready. And then there's, I guess, people like your mom, Marge, that don't listen to my rules, which I always find to be fun, actually. Kristen, am I doing virtual galleries? I am doing virtual galleries at the end of this month, October. I can't remember the date. I could probably look it up real quick. I'm doing an intuitive gallery, which is different than a mediumship gallery. The intuitive galleries are when you can ask me an intuitive question. It's more about the here and now or the future. You could ask name vibration stuff, tell me about my kids, tell me health questions, medical mediumship. It's more about the here and now. So I'm doing one of those at the end of the month. I can look real quick. I can't remember the dates. One moment, please. It's usually on a Tuesday night, so I'm assuming the 27th. Yeah, virtual gallery on Tuesday, October 27th. 7 to 9 p.m. So that's we limit the numbers so I could try to get to as many as possible. Everyone is assigned a number, and I pick your number out of a hat box, and that's how you ask your questions. So we try to get to everybody. I had 20 people signed up last month, and I did 15 questions, which literally makes me physically sick for the 5 that didn't get one. But what is the coolest part of that is 2 of those 5 wrote to me the next day saying, that was the coolest thing I ever did. I didn't get a question, but I love being a part of it, which I was like, oh my God, I love it. That was like the coolest. So yes, Kristen. So because of COVID, I am more cautious, and I do feel like my own personal responsibility is I don't want to hold events that could possibly be like super spreading events. I am cautious of that. Not for myself. I would hope that I'd be okay. I don't know. You don't know. But I don't know who's going to be in a group. In fact, last time I had been thought to have been exposed to COVID like a week or 2 before my last gallery. So I found this out kind of last minute. Well, 5 days before the gallery, I went and got a test. Even though I knew I was fine, I went and got a test because there's no way I was going to hold a gallery if I thought I had been exposed to COVID, because I am not going to be someone who's going to assume that everyone is fine and it's okay. But that's my own personal viewpoint. Let's see. Question from Teresa Kennedy. I sometimes see people at night when I'm sleeping and I scream and I scare them away. Why would this happen? Couple of things. I mean, it could be it is a freaky thing when you see people on the other side. I'm not going to lie. Like, I have a rule. I do not want to see you. Never let outside of myself. I could see you in my mind's eye. I can close my eyes and see you. I don't want to see you out here. I don't want that. So I make a deal with them. Like, just don't let me see you and we're going to be cool. So you scare them away. It's because all of a sudden they realize, like, oh my gosh, she doesn't like this. So before you go to bed, Teresa, you can say to them, like, listen, I do not want to be scared. I want to connect with you, but I don't want you to freak me out. So can you please come to me in a way that feels good for both of us? And I know it sounds crazy, but just constantly put that out there before you go to bed and see how the dynamic will change. Let's see. Angela is saying, I had 3 really bad car accidents, total lost on vehicles, separate occasions. No idea how I'm alive. But I swear I saw angels. How do I know if it's the same person that keeps saving me? That's a wild question. I don't know that you would know other than your own experience. So if you say you saw the same person, then it would be that same person. But if you're not sure, maybe it's several different. Hard to say. What I do know is when you say, like, I have no idea how I'm alive, the thing with our death is that we will not die until it's our time. And before we were born, we were kind of assigned, if you will, a time and a date, and that was it. We're not changing from that time or date. We can change how we pass, but we cannot change when we pass. So you're alive because it hasn't been your time yet. Even though these 3 terrible car accidents, the reason why you lived is because it wasn't your time. And it wasn't your time, and those angels that you saw were helping it not be your time. So the other side cannot, in other words, the other side cannot intercept our time and date when we die. That's it. Because people will say to me, like, why did my father let my son pass? Or why did my mom let my daughter pass? Or that's crazy, because they can't intercept that. They cannot change when someone's going to die. But if someone is not their time, they absolutely can be the reason why we don't die. Does that make sense? Does that clarify? So your angels were there to make sure, like, oh, well, hold on a second. This isn't Angela's day. Ironically, her name is Angela. This isn't Angela's day. We got to do something. Let's go. Mobilize the forces so she doesn't pass. But anyone who does pass, it was their time. How do we know it was their time? Because they did pass. So what if you do want to see a loved one? How do you get them to show themselves? That takes a lot of conditioning and meaning changing your core beliefs, because we are so deeply embedded to believe that you cannot see them when they pass. So we won't see them. If you ask to see them, you have to then follow that up with a belief that you will see them. And that's hard. It's hard to change our minds on that. Also, as humans, we get very specific as, like, let me see you right now, or, show up as this song on the radio, or let a deer dart across in front of my car. We always put, like, these parameters on how they should show up. And really, we should not put parameters on them. So maybe you ask to see them, and then all of a sudden, 2 days later, you come across a photograph that you haven't seen of them in a while. That's them answering. You can see them. But we go, no, I just found a photograph. We don't connect it to seeing them. Or maybe you ask to see them, and a week or 2 later, you're in the mall and you see someone who looks just like your loved one. And you're like, oh my God, it freaked me out. I thought that person was my grandfather. It was weird. It was them. It was them showing themselves to you. But we also know, like, no, it was some random guy in the mall. But it was like, wow, that's not a coincidence that that person really, really looked like my loved one. So try not to be so specific about how they should show up. Don't do that. Try not to do that. Wow, if you see the cars after each accident, it's insane. I was woken up by someone slapping me. That person is dead. That's wild. That is so cool. I totally believe that, of course. And you'll get people who are like, yeah, no, 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 no. And then you just don't tell them those stories. That's all. You can ask them to come to a dream. Some people, I always have a theory about dreams. Either there are people who dream a lot of the other side and people who don't. I'm someone who does not, although I took a dream class with the head of the ARE Foundation in Virginia Beach, Kevin Tedeschi. He wrote the comments on the back of my book, and he taught an amazing class about dreams. And I'm not someone who typically feels that I get information from my dreams. I get them more waking state. But he did do some techniques with dreaming. So you could write a little note before you go to sleep. If you have anything in your life that you would like insight on, you would write it down on a piece of paper. Should I take that job or not? Right? You write it on a piece of paper, you fold it up. He says to put it in the band of your underwear. I'm not doing that. I'm not. That's going to be itchy. So I was like, nope, not doing it. But then he also jokes saying, like, you can put it under your pillow. So put under my pillow. You can put it on the side of your bed. But hold the question, think about the question, focus on the question, thank the question, thank yourself for dreaming about the answer of the question, and do it every single night until you get an answer. Maybe it happens that night, maybe it's not for 2 weeks or a month, but you focus on that particular question, or in this case, connecting with a particular person on the other side, and just keep doing it every night until you do. And I did do that, and I'm not a dreamer. And holy crap, it was about 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago. Man, it was probably 2 years ago this weekend, actually. And my thought was, where should I hold my next retreat? That was my big intuitive question that I wanted to know. And I had a dream, and I remembered all the details of the dream, and I'm like, yeah, that didn't answer that question. And I went around my day, and I was like, all right, I guess tonight I'll do it again. I'll ask the question again. And then all of a sudden, at like 2:00 that same day, another piece of the dream that I had forgotten in the morning popped up, and it very specifically told me where to have the next retreat, but I forgot it as soon as I woke up. So I was astounded, absolutely astounded that I'm like, oh my God, that information did come through. I just don't remember it at first. So if you don't remember it at first, just keep focusing on it every night. Oh my goodness. No, that is not a coincidence to have all birthdays on the 17th at all. Melanie, why do some families have people die at the same age as their parents and grandparents? There is a thing, I don't know what it's called, but there is kind of this unconscious fear that when we hear that a parent or grandparent dies at a particular age, we feel like that is the age we all die. And I remember Madonna was the first time I ever heard someone talk about this. I think her mom died when her mother was 35, 36. I'll have to look it up now. But Madonna was in an interview, and when she was turning the age that her mother was when she died, Madonna was convinced that she was going to die because it made sense that, well, my mom died then. So it's this over-identification with your parent and grandparent. My father had the same thing. Both his parents, or his mom, one of his parents, I don't know who it was, that died at 67 years old. So when he became 67, he was like convinced, like, you're going to die now. It's time to die. So I think there's a lot of unconscious stuff at work there. And then it might be coincidence. It might be more than that. Hard to say. So because your time is your time. You're going to go when you're supposed to go. But I would not, for any of you who have that feeling of like, oh my God, so-and-so died at a particular time, I must go too. Just be aware that that's a thing, but it's not true. Doesn't mean you are going to go at that time. I was also convinced that I was going to die at 32, 33, 34, someone in there. I don't remember it now. I think it was 34. I was like convinced. And so when I had my first son, I was convinced like I'm going to die. I know I'm going to die. I think it was 34. I have to look back at my journal notes. But when I say I was convinced, I'm like, I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be me. I'm dying at 34. But I was terrified. And I was thinking, oh my God, I'm having this baby and he's not going to have a mom, blah, blah, blah. In hindsight, what I was projecting and experiencing was at that time, that's when I decided to get divorced. That was a time when I really changed the trajectory of my entire life and everything I was about and everything I was doing. And so the old me at that time 100% died. And so now I realize, like, oh my God, we might think of death as this final physical death, but death happens in many ways, in many forms. And I definitely died at that time because the old me left and a new me came in. So that's another fascinating, thought or view of death and the concept of death. It's not just a physical death. Let's see. In your private sessions prior to giving the reading, do you body check for physical problems, or for lack of a better word? Yes, I do. I do always. Every private session that anyone has with me, I'm writing on a piece of paper, and I have very specific things on my paper that mean certain things to me as the intuitive. It's kind of like shorthand. And part of that is scanning the physical body and if there's any issues going on. And sometimes it just shows up as, oh, they have a question about their health. It's just that. And sometimes it's sort of like, oh, yeah, something's going on with blah, blah, blah. So, yes, but I do always scan for that. That's a cool question. Let's see. So I'm going to end here. It's 10:12 p.m. on Monday night. I am here every Monday night, 8:30 to usually around this time, 10:30. Please, when I tell you meditation, look into it with me. 7:30 Sunday nights. It's $15 unless you do the whole month of meditation. Then we have a monthly meditation fee. You do it month by month. You're not obligated beyond that, or you could just do class by class. I will be announcing Energy Transformation Awareness class dates probably mid-November, so that'll come up in January. And I think that's it. Oh, my Teachable, deborahhanlon.teachable.com. I do have 2 online courses that you take in your own time. One is Introduction to Meditation Experience. That one's actually, this one I sound like Crazy Eddie, but that one's 50% off now till the end of the month. So if you want to grab one, 50 to the end of the month or before 50 people. Once 50 people sign up for it, then it's done. So whichever one comes first. That's on deborahhanlon.teachable.com. Plus the other one is a class that I call Raise Your Vibration. Like, how do you raise your vibration? How to become aware of why you're feeling low has a vibratory pattern. And there's a reason why we might be vibing low versus vibing high. So that class is on teachable.com. What else do I have? I don't know. That's it. I think that's it. So enjoy, everyone. I hope I see you Sunday nights. Please give it a try one time. Make the commitment to yourself. One Sunday night, 7:30 to 9. It's $15 or $50 for the whole month. And yeah, that's it. So thanks for staying along this late and have a great rest of your week. And I hope I see you guys either at meditation or back here on YouTube and Facebook next Monday night. So thank you guys. Have a good one.